والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. Life can be seen as a matter of gain and loss. In our early years, if all goes well, and as we grow in body and mind, our gains seem to outweigh our losses. Then, for quite a while, we are focused on keeping what we have gained and gaining more if we can. Eventually, however, as we decline physically and in some cases mentally, it appears we are losing more than winning. Then, finally, we die and are deemed to have lost all and returned to zero. In this secular, materialist framing of our lives, one that excludes an afterlife, the individual has no ultimate hope of redemption. A minuscule elite might be furiously building underground bunkers or devising elaborate escape routes from death, as in cybernetics, freezing corpses for future resuscitation, or medical innovations that could delay aging. But most of us are resigned to simply passing away, dying in obscurity, unremembered 100 years from now. For the average materialist, verse 2 appears absolutely true. Mankind is indeed in loss. What really hurts, however, is that while death is accepted as natural and inevitable, the loss of our loved ones is not. Every bereavement of a close friend, a cherished spouse, or a favorite child wounds us deeply. The death of one's husband or wife can seem like losing half of one's soul. And the death of a son or daughter feels like a cruel joke played upon us by the universe. These events are so painful because we develop attachments, not only to people but even to things, such as homeland, property, position, reputation, lifestyle, or a precious object. When this treasured person or thing is ripped out of our life, it is as if an amputation has been done on us, leaving the spirit wounded, crippled, or even paralyzed. Some people plan for protection by stoically minimizing such attachments, steeling themselves against disappointment. They distance themselves from any sort of love or involvement for fear of the suffering that follows the loss of near and dear ones. This is not to disparage the spiritual wealth of true Stoicism, which I highly recommend. Others abandon themselves to great demonstrations of sorrow, such as wailing, tearing their clothes, lacerating their bodies, and indulging in elaborate funeral ceremonies. Consider the pyramids as monuments not only to immortality, but perhaps as symbols of the trauma and enormous displays of grief that often accompany death. The Prophet ﷺ shed quiet tears at the loss of his son Ibrahim, but he prohibited loud, demonstrative shows of sorrow that magnified the power of suffering beyond its natural impact. He was attached to his wives and family members, and their loss affected him profoundly. But such losses did not stagger his composure or weaken his character. He loved things less than we do, but he loved the people around him all the more. He did not forestall disappointment by cold indifference, a simple refusal of loss that would leave him isolated and aloof. Rather, he engaged with bereavement as part of a higher purpose, as expressed in the final verse I quoted at the beginning. Except the ones who have believed and done good deeds and urged each other to the truth and urged each other to be patient. His attachments were intended to enhance his faith and the faith of those he loved. Their loss was a test of what he believed about God, that nothing and no one is lost when God is there to receive them. By speaking to the people around us about truth and patience, we not only prepare ourselves and them for bereavement, but also engage them and us in a bond that goes beyond this life of loss into the ever after. Mankind is indeed in loss, but with a huge exception. Use that exception, faith, good deeds, truth, and patience, to turn your next loss into eternal gain.